And we are live. All right. That's how we start. That's just how we start. That's just how we start.
Welcome to the podcast. Fuck.
Good Lord. Welcome to the ESDL Insider Podcast, episode number 5. This time we are joined by Photography
Raptor.
This is gonna be difficult for me.
You can just call me Raptor. It's fine.
I'm gonna just call you Raptor. We're moving on. I don't know names. Shut up.
It's all good, man.
But no.
No.
What was I saying? You're throwing me off. Okay, so
you can't even say our team name.
Look, I tried and I figured it out, and then I lost it again. Okay, let's get to it. Okay, so the podcast. I know y'all miss X Factor. We're gonna put Raptor in his place for now. That don't mean X Factor's been cut. We wanted more opinions for this one, so we go ahead and invite someone else in. So let's talk about League of Legends this time. Not ESDL League of Legends, just regular League of Legends. And let's start with the most depressing thing ever. NA is out of Worlds. Not one NA team made it to the knockout stage. The Koreans are looking, dominating, and EU is being EU.
Yep.
All 3 of them made it to the knockout stage. Now, we're not going to say how far they made it. We're not talking about that, Fnatic.
I'll talk about it. I've never been happier seeing Fnatic fall out of quarters.
We're not talking about how far they made it, Fnatic, but we didn't make it to the knockout stage. Now, Double Lift being interviewed on the spot afterwards. So they asked him, hey, this has been 3 years in a row this has happened. You've gotten 3-3 in the group stage and haven't made it on to the into the knockout stage. Why is that? And his immediate reply, without hesitation, staring straight at the camera, is that NA sucks. It sucks to play in, sucks to practice in, it's a sucky server. Just basically laying in to the way the NA is structured. Now, that leads us to a question that we're going to answer on this podcast. Is the NA weak, and how can we make it stronger? Ooh.
That's
okay.
It's
heavy.
A hard one there.
That's hard. That's heavy.
I don't like it hard. I prefer soft.
Okay. I didn't know this was this kind of show.
Bruh. Bruh.
He just edits out when I say that.
I'm recording this. It's not live. I would never do this live. Never do this live. Never. But, all right. So, our first big question is, we've had, 2 teams make it to the knockout stage this time? I think we had TL and shoot me in the face. Cloud9 make it this time.
You mean the group stage?
To group stage.
We had 3. Clutch made it 2.
Oh yeah, Clutch made it.
Yeah,
I keep forgetting about them. Clutch. Sorry, Clutch. So we had 3 make it. But none of them made it out. Why do you think we can't perform when it comes to a world stage versus when we're MSI, when we're, versus MSI, things of that nature?
So there's a few layers to this kind of thing. And the first is, it's not that we can't perform on an international stage. It's that we did not perform on this international stage. C9 made it to semis last year. C9's made it pretty much out of most of the worlds they've been to. This year, however, we definitely did not perform.
No.
I as an avid C9 fan, they did not deserve to make it out of that group the way they were playing the game.
That's true.
But that's not to say that that's always the way they play the game. And you're talking about DL's interview, him saying that is honestly like kind of a cop out for himself. If he can say, "Oh, well, it's just my region's weak," then that's an excuse for him never making it out himself. When you look at how C9's made it to quarters and then made it to semis, it is that really your region being bad, or is that just you not being able to adapt to the international stage? And yeah, you can look at MSI, but I mean, it's MSI. Who
Right.
really cares?
It's MSI. It's MSI. Come on, man. MSI got to get some credit.
Nah, it really doesn't, though.
Get some credit. Come on.
You're going to hit him with that.
It doesn't, though.
It
Worlds is what people care about. And it's, yeah, we don't have a title. We haven't won.
No.
But, and like, yes, even in semis last year, C9 got relatively stomped by Fnatic. Like, that happened. Like, it's on that day in those games, those players showed up to play better. I don't, and because what people always forget is there's a difference between not being the best and being awful. Like, so because I was talking about this with the rest of my team, and I got to shout out Skelly. He came up with this kind of argument. Think about it like this.
Okay.
I'm gold 2 around 40 LP in solo queue.
Right.
That puts me at around the top 25% of all ranked players in North America. Think about if you were to tell anyone that you are in the top 25% of something you do out of millions of people who do it.
Right.
That sounds pretty good, right?
Sounds awesome.
But
in reality,
think about it. There's a thing in League where the community tends to hyper focus on the 0.00001% of League players that are the absolute best at it, and say, no, anything that's not that is bad. If you're not this, you're just bad, and there's no question to it. And that tends to be very consistent.
Okay.
But like every other region aside from LCK, LPL, and LEC, we've beat when we go up against them consistently.
Okay. So here's where I take that argument and flip it on its head, because I like doing this, and I'm a jerk in these podcasts because I wrote down questions about stuff. Now, did you know that we have the least amount of players actually playing solo queue?
Yeah, or in ranked, yeah.
In ranked.
It's not the least. It's less than both of those, all three of the other main regions.
Exactly. All three of the main regions. We're almost tied. We're only a little bit above Brazil.
Yeah, I mean,
we're a little bit above Brazil. And they don't got their own region.
Well, like, that shouldn't surprise you.
Yeah, they don't have their own region. They don't have their own region. Why are we even close to Brazil? So when he said that the NA sucks, and what I heard from it was that there's no, when they go to Worlds, their competition is different. The level of competition is different. So you can stomp on people in solo queue easy. I know you've been there. You've been there where some inting has happened on the enemy team. Everyone. So what they're saying is that other places take their solo queues much more seriously. Take it much more seriously.
True.
Than the NA solo queue, where people are one-tricking. Halo over my head because that's what I do.
I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with one-tricking. I don't necessarily think that is a factor, but it is like people in NA, especially high elo players, not taking ranked seriously is 100% a thing and a problem.
Right. And you know what another thing they blame about? They blame that on? And leads me right into number 2. Is streaming a problem? Because here's the thing. They say that a lot of streamers int and play around in their games, and it gives their audiences, which is millions of people watching, the idea to do the same. And now they're not taking it seriously either because this person is making so much money, so much fame off of inting and playing badly and doing whatever he wants to entertain the stream. Now it's affecting solo queue itself and making and poisoning that well.
I mean, like,
Oh yes, I'm gonna challenge you tonight. Let's go.
no. That's because that's definitely a tie-in. Like, it definitely has effect. Like, if someone, especially since a lot of kids are younger,
Right.
they're very impressionable by these types of streamers.
Yep. Look at
Your
Fortnite.
T1s, your
Ninja.
Look at Ninja.
Yeah,
Look
like
at
the
Ninja.
attitude that I've never watched Ninja, so I can't.
Don't.
But
It's poison. It's poison.
He
I'm a
literally
father.
yelled at children.
Exactly.
I
I'm a
mean,
father of
yeah.
two. I'm a
He
father
will
of
yell
two.
at children.
And I've seen how what he says on stream comes full circle to what my kids
Yeah.
say when playing the game against other people.
No, 100%. And so, like, that's definitely has an impact. And so there's definitely something on streamers, but you also have people from Europe and people from everywhere watching those same streamers.
Right.
Like, all 10K or whatever, the people that watch Tyler stream every week or every night aren't like, they all aren't from NA. You'll
Correct.
have people from Europe in there. You'll have people from everywhere in there.
Right.
It's who knows what the distribution is, but there's a reason why then that behavior turns more into it sticks in NA.
Right.
Because as a whole, our culture America doesn't put a lot of value or emphasis on PC games or PC gaming. There's not like or strategy games in general.
Right.
There's not a strong emphasis there. So that's definitely a factor. And then with consoles and FPSs, those being the, like, if you're gonna play a video game, play one of those, or like sports games, because
oh my god,
sports.
I will never touch a sport game ever in my life.
Ugh, sports.
Sports ball.
Stupid.
But like those are the type of games that are much more culturally acceptable. So you have this whole culture that's basically built around saying, I mean, like, I guess your weird League of Legends computer game thing is okay, and like, but it's like anything else. Like SNL just did a skit. I don't know if you saw that about Worlds, and it just told the same rehash jokes that you hear every American talk about when it comes to esports, especially with like an esport that they're not familiar with.
But did you see Robot Chicken make fun of esports?
No, I didn't see that one.
Now they did it correctly. Robot Chicken did it very, very well. And I wish I could show you it on the screen, but it, like, they pointed it out that, you know, that nerd character from Robot Chicken that's always everywhere that gets shit on all the time. So he joined the esports team and got hired on and everything like that. And they had like real League of Legends players talking about, nah, bro, I'm not a nerd. I'm not a nerd. I get girls and stuff like that, and like I'm out here having fun, talking to people, doing things, and that's the way to represent esports in my eyes. Because I know a lot of esports people that are nowhere near nerds.
Oh yeah,
Nowhere near your glasses up in the house. I look like that because the whole glasses thing. But I need them to see, so don't judge. But not a nerd, right?
Yeah, no, like, and it's one of those things where that's just how America as a culture has grown, and especially then you also layer in the ping, and there's just all these kinds of factors that contribute to.
Stop right there.
All right.
Stop right there. The ping. The ping has been the number one discussion since this topic came up. And they've run some tests. So they've run multiple tests. One's picking out how many pings that they can do for certain places, things like that, and how much you get from certain areas. And from EU, it's 15 to 20. For us, it's 40 to 60 in given places.
Oh, see, I saw a bigger number.
Wait, what number did you see?
I saw the range being up to like 100. And like 90.
So, and I wanted to know, why the fuck is that such a big deal, right? I play with 70 ping and I'm fine, right? But I'm
Have
not
you
that
ever played
high.
in a LAN environment? Well, yeah. Have you ever played in a LAN environment?
No.
It feels totally different. Because I remember when I was learning the game, it was still when the servers were in LA,
Right.
and I'm on the East Coast, so I was learning to play with 100 ping. When the servers moved, I went down to 30. You feel the difference. You really do. And it especially even then when you take it from going 30 to 0 or 30 to 5 or 30 to 10, it's there's no lag time between what you're trying to input. And especially with these guys doing all the combos and other weird shit that they do with how fast they're able to do stuff, doesn't make sense. But we can talk later about how I don't understand how Faker can gather any information from the amount of speed that he just hits tab. I don't get it. But
That's true. That's true. Have you ever seen his pro view? You seen his pro view? It's like up.
he's
It's think
bruh,
up
no,
down. I'm like, what the fuck did
he
you see?
CSs without the minions on the screen.
Yeah.
I'm like, what
Makes
did
no
you
sense.
see? What did you
I don't know.
see?
I don't know. But
Nothing.
makes no sense. But so it's like it really does feel different. And so especially when the pro players out in California went from, you know, whatever they were at before, I'm sure it was like 10 to 20 to the 60 that most of them are now playing on. That shit feels awful, especially when on weekends you're playing in LAN with 0 ping and it's just everything you do is instant. So think about like how fast they do stuff versus how slow we do stuff.
Yeah.
And it'll really start to impact everything that you do. But they actually did just announce today that players will be able to stream games on the tournament realm. So hopefully that helps start fostering more of a 0 ping practice environment. Since those servers are still in California.
All right. So at least they're working on this issue.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now I'm gonna ask a question. Does solo queue not count because there's no reward at the end of the rainbow? What I mean by that is there are some solo queue players that have been sitting at the top for a very long time. A very long time being at the top of solo queue the entire time. No pro team has looked at them. No pro because they're in A. No
We don't
pro
know
team.
that.
Hang on. Because again, there has been, I'm going to say, several pro supports, pro jungles out there for NA that were not saying that Core JJ wasn't a good pickup. Core JJ has been amazing for the Liquid lineup, has been amazing. But because they are getting looked over, does that make clowning in the solo queue ladder more acceptable because there's no reward? Because if you look at Korean solo queue, if you look at Korean EU, all of those players, so they tried to pick up Korean players from their solo queue ladder. There's someone who just looked at the solo queue ladder like any one of these guys can be the next Uzi. Any one of these guys can be that good. So we want to get them before the Koreans pick them up. Well, the problem with that is they went and talked to them, and all of the top 200 Korean teams have been approached by pro teams from the top 200
Yeah.
in the solo queue ladder. They've already been approached.
Makes sense.
They're already in contracts with teams to sub out. So when talent retires in Korea, there's another Korean like that Family
Mm-hmm.
Guy skit where one worker dies and they drag another one out.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. It's happening. But it's not
I don't know.
happening in
I don't know if
NA.
that's the dynamic,
But
but
it's not happening in NA. It's not happening. If
but we
Double
don't
Lift
we don't we
retires
don't know
tomorrow,
that.
who's the next Double Lift from NA?
Well, I mean, we don't know that, but it's not like they know that right now. It's
Just
so
saying.
we can't say definitively that teams aren't reaching out to these players.
Okay.
I mean, we don't know half the shit that's going on behind the scenes. They could easily be reaching out to top players from solo queue. But I was reading one of the CV Max rants from earlier. I don't know if you've been following that drama at all. But,
I have.
So in one of his rants, he was talking about, and to not even get into that, but just using a point that he made was that Griffin had tryouts where they were looking for people to be on the practice team. They're whatever the LCK Academy is, and that would mostly be from solo queue players. And he talked about how, as a coach, he liked to just find players who were mechanically very good because he could teach them how to play competitively. It's a lot. His point was that it was a lot harder to teach someone good mechanics, but it's easier to teach someone how to play the game from team level. And we can't say that we're not doing that in NA, but it's a very different dynamic where you also look at Korean coaches and they're some of the best coaches in the world. I mean, we have some good coaches here, but
we have some fantastic coaches.
Only a few of them have really showed the ability to develop native talent that way.
And I mean, I see what your point is there. But the point I'm trying to make is, why aren't we incentivizing our top, like, let's just say,
we are with Scouting Grounds is supposed to do that.
Yeah, but who has Scouting Grounds picked up?
A couple of people. We didn't Kuro get picked up from Scouting Grounds?
Yes, but that's the recent story we've heard. How new is the Scouting Grounds? How new?
2 years, right? 2, 3?
2, 3. And there are some people that have been sitting on the top of the ladder for that long.
Yeah, but that also doesn't necessarily mean they want to play professional League of Legends.
Yeah, but have we reached out to them to find out?
We don't know. Maybe.
You see what I'm saying? So,
maybe.
But what I'm saying is, this revolving door of talent for NA, there's a void there.
Oh, yeah.
Is what I'm trying to say. Because we need a way for solo queue to be taken seriously by NA players.
We need more players for them to take it seriously.
Well, if we get the players that are playing now to take it seriously, then more people will come back from... There are several people that left League of Legends, playing League of Legends, because playing in solo queue is a taxing experience. I am Bronze 1. I have been in Bronze 1 for 2 months. Bronze 1. All I need is to win 3 promo games to get out. I will always win 2, and in the last 3, I have the worst luck imaginable. So, in an average of games, I'll get 2 that know what they're doing, and then 3 that completely shit the complete bed. Some people doing stuff I know you just seen in a stream, and you just want to try it out.
I mean, yeah, but...
I mean, that gets into
be done in
I seen a Jungle Janna.
Not in... It should be done just regular queue, not
exactly
in ranked.
But we're not. But this is being done in ranked. That means they don't give a damn about no one else.
Yeah.
They don't care about nobody else.
It is true.
They don't care about no one.
No, 100%. Like they don't. They don't have a reason to. There's not.
But
yeah,
there's no
incentive. The way that the promo system set up was back in season 3 when you could actually solo carry games. The way that the game is shifted to where it's all about team play now. And team play is so important, even in fucking solo queue, that you can't just solo carry as many games as you used to be able. So sometimes you definitely can. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But not to the level that you used to be able to in seasons 3, 4, etc.
So it's a rough look, man. It's a rough.
Yeah.
But speaking of meta, at Worlds we got surprised by a couple of different picks that we weren't used to here in NA. Gragas Yasuo was a surprise.
No, it wasn't.
It was.
Teams ran that in LCS.
Teams ran that in the LCS but not as effective as we saw it over there.
True, but I don't
It's
think
not as effective.
I don't think
Like
that
I've
the
seen it in
effectiveness
the
of it makes it a
LC.
surprise.
It was a surprise that it worked that well because again, if you play something and it's like this, right? Like you play a Mario level and it's easy, and you go and you looking at that same Mario level on hard, like, oh, I know everything that's about to happen, and then you get jumped up by some parts of it that you didn't understand of how they interact with each other. It surprises you. It threw them off, and even the teams that played against it admitted it in the after interview. Hey, the, I, we played against Gragas Yasuo. It was strong when we played against it, but it wasn't as strong as when they played it. It's a totally different beast than when they played it. They understood the nuances, the
Hmm.
nuances, the ins and out, the ins and outs, and because they were used to playing on less lag, less ping, it was so whatever we did in solo queue works. So that's versus ping less. So again, it was kind of a surprise in that notion.
In some ways,
In
yeah.
some
No, like
ways, it
you,
would be.
yeah, yeah. You got a point with that.
So the question is, because of our pings, because of the way things are set up with us, are we behind on the meta, or are we dropping things because our ping is too high to use them
No,
effectively?
no. It's not like we're behind on the meta. It's just that we things like that will never be as effective since players duos can't get the same level of practice on it than they want to have in a match,
Right.
or even a scrim. I would imagine no, because they're in tournament room. So that in matches, like in solo queue, so they can't practice that stuff. So yeah, like that makes sense. So it's not that we're behind on the meta. It's just that, and this happens every world. Every region's meta is different,
Right.
and
I mean,
like
it's just like fighting
last
games,
year,
dude.
yeah, no, and last year Korea got shit on by everybody because they hadn't adjusted to the meta of worlds,
Right.
and
Which is why I asked the question.
yeah, and so I don't think it's that NA was behind on the meta.
Mm.
Uh, From what I saw, teams were all playing similar kind of stuff beforehand.
Right.
I think they may have misread parts of the meta in the strength of mages,
Right.
but I think that's different from being behind.
Okay. I can see that. Can we create our own meta?
Yeah, I mean, we have every like you see it in just champions being picked. Like there's definitely things that teams value as being stronger or weaker in every region. Less so in worlds because people like you have all of the best people. They come together and they figure out all of the best things. So then you kind of see that shift and change throughout
Right.
quarter semis, etc. Because then they're also looking at what teams they play, and so it's there. That's why there are sub metas within each level and within each best
And
of five.
right. It's just crazy when you watch the way certain pieces of worlds played out.
Hmm.
And and the picks that ended up beating NA were all like it wasn't what we usually play. I didn't make note of it because normally I got my pencil by my side and make notes of everything, but I didn't get I I failed to sharpen my pencil for Worlds, so that was my fault. Um, but it was always a pick that something that we didn't think was that strong, and I've noticed that it's either Gragas Yasuo, it was Garen Yumi after the nerfs, thinking that that was completely gone and gutted, and it came back to bite us in the tail. You know, because
Yeah.
again, we dropped those things as soon as those nerfs came in. The second we
Well,
see something nerf, we drop it. We dropping this NA.
People, that was a weird read because they nerfed Yumi, but they broke Garen, so it's like, where does that really net out?
I mean, yes, Garen is 100% broken. 100% broken. Oh my God, he craps on Fiora hard. If you don't got that riposte for that Q, oh Lord. Oh Lord, you about to eat it.
Yeah, it is what it is. But
it's the worst.
I don't play top lane, so
He's like, nope, doesn't concern me.
nope.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know, man. It's a weird situation, but it's that's one of those questions that we can't entirely answer, and we can only answer in the context of, ourselves, our play, and what we see on screen. We'll never know all of the conversations that are happening, everything that's being considered.
No.
Teams may be trying stuff that, and it just doesn't work for them as a team, which is totally fine. Like, so I think
But then where do they
hard
get the
to answer.
But when do they get the practice against these things at such a high level? So like in
Scrims.
So in but again, they're playing scrims in A.
But that's still
We
that's on
don't use
tournament.
that stuff. We don't use that stuff. I know
Well,
I don't.
no, of course we don't. Yeah, well, we don't have access to tournament rounds.
I haven't seen a Garen Yumi in not one of my games. I've seen people try Gragas Yasuo. I've seen that a lot.
I've casted a Garen Yumi.
You see what I'm
but
saying?
I haven't. Yeah,
But where do you get it to where it's who used it? G2, I believe. No, I don't think G2 used it. Who was it?
Fnatic was the big Garen Yumi people.
I think it was them. When Fnatic used it, how can we get it? How can they get practice to the level of Fnatic? To where when they meet Fnatic, they're like, okay, now I know the ins and outs of this combination. We can figure this out.
Well, so from what I understand, what teams will do when they scrim each other, and we've done this with one of the teams that we scrim against, is they talk about certain comps or champions that they want to play against, and they can say, hey, like, can y'all play this? We want to practice against it because we think we might play against it, or we're not so great against this.
Right.
And so they just talk to each other and they say, hey, will you run this? And then as long as the other team is halfway good at it, then you're getting good practice from that.
I don't think so. It's not the same. Because if I'm halfway good at something versus being an expert at something.
Well, these are pro players, so they're like, part of that is that they can play all of this stuff.
Right. Right. They can play it all.
We can't. We can't. For the outside of some of the really weird pocket picks, they can't. Whether or not they do because that's what they feel the most comfortable on, or what works the best for their team environment, is different than their ability to do it at the same levels. For the most part, because they're professional players, those mechanics are an expectation.
Okay, that's true. That's true. Those mechanics are an expectation. All right,
and it doesn't mean they always live up to those, Zazel, but you can take that multiple ways.
But you get what you get on that one. Yeah. All right, guys. We've listed off a bunch of weaknesses. Ping. Oh, wait. I forgot the biggest one. How could I?
The biggest one?
How could I forget the biggest one? The biggest one. A lot of these reports are saying that we need more imports because there are several regions that we are not pulling from. So, where did I get this statistic? There are minor leagues that we aren't pulling from. The Oceanian League. I know there's one for Brazil and New Mexico. There's school leagues as well. And we're not pulling from that talent. We're not pulling from that talent because we only get 2 import slots. And that's it. And they're looking for more Korean talent while shying away from these smaller regions.
Mm-hmm.
Is opening up import slots, even if it's one more import slot to where they can have 2 regular imports and then one from a minor league import. where they import from a minor league as well. So 2 main imports and then because they're allowed 2 imports. So 2 main imports and a minor league import.
No. It's the reason why teams are pulling from KR in NEU and China is because those are the best regions. It's where the best players come from.
Right.
When has, outside of maybe like Levi or BRTT, who even then BRTT got kind of shut down on the international stage, when have any of those players,
Yeah, but
with
look
like
who
one or two
BRTT was around.
exceptions,
Look who he was around.
but
Look at the
like,
team that he was around. So you telling me if you put him with Double Lift and those guys that he won't do great?
no, I 100%. Probably like maybe with time, but it's I don't think you could expect him to achieve the same level, even just in A, that he got in Brazil. I don't think you could expect that just from the one international performance that I remember from him.
Okay.
Like it's why would we pull from regions that even we consistently beat when there hasn't shown to be talent from those regions that's necessarily better than the little bit of talent than we are able to foster natively or from imports that have passed their residency.
Yeah, but we're not pulling. But the problem is when we do pull imports, we're pulling imports that are old, man. We're not pulling the freshest LKR talent, the freshest EU talent. They're saving that stuff for themselves. They're taking
Yeah.
all the freshest talent for themselves.
It's not that. It's that
We're
the
getting
players
too.
we're talking to and the players that we're asking are these players, because they're like, okay, I want to talk to this veteran, and it's not always old. Sometimes the player who's only just been playing for 1 or 2 seasons professionally, but they have a lot of notoriety, and we've even like, yeah, no, like we got Jensen when he first came into professional League of Legends.
Right.
It's not that we're always drafting old players from these regions. We draft talent from those regions too. It's just that there's not an incentive to draft talent from regions that we're better than. Like I don't know what opening up an import slot for those would do more so than you look at other regions and their requirements on imports for residency. Ours is what is it? I think it's 4 splits, 2
Yes.
years, something like that.
4 splits, 2 years. Basic contract.
I'm pretty sure EU's is double that.
Hmm.
It's I know it's longer. I don't remember the top.
Right.
I was reading it earlier today because I was reading something similar, like a similar conversation.
Right.
But EU's is much longer than ours, so it forces them to get native talent because they don't have residence like we do. Residency is much more, I think, a problem of NA than imports are, because we're allowing more to come in with a lower gate.
Okay. So here's the thing about the reason why they wanted to lower the gate. Again, it goes back to talent runs its course. We all get old, man. We all get old. Arthritis comes from somewhere, man. At one point, I was like, "Hey, bruh,
It's over. Can't do it."
I was like, "Man, I'm awesome. I could play League of Legends all night and wake up the next morning, go to work. If I don't go to bed at 12, I'm done. I shut down in the middle of the day. I'm taking naps between phone calls and work. It's
My dude, I got home from work today and slept till I got on this call.
you know. So
Did we wake you up? It was like ring ring. Time to talk for like an hour and a half about NA and its
about
shittiness.
you know, and these are the things, like, talent gets old. Old time catches up to everybody. Faker can't be great forever.
Don't you lie to me.
Bruh.
Don't you say that.
Bruh. Faker can't, like, Faker is Faker, man.
Don't say it.
Faker is Faker,
Quit
man.
it.
Faker is
Quit
Faker.
it.
But we gotta
He's the GOAT.
Why are you doing
he's
this
the
to us?
GOAT. But we gotta face the facts. eventually he will get old. As a
Nah, the goat is the goat for a reason. He's not the go. He's not the goa. He's the goat. The T stands for time.
well, I understand
Jesus
it stands for
Christ.
time, but time is running against all of us, including Faker, who again, him and Uzi are both older talents that's just proven that they can keep it going
Hmm.
and keep it going. But my question is, how long do you foster that talent? SKT even ran into this idea of trying to replace Faker. But the thing is, with Faker, what you can't replace is his leadership. It's not just his playing, it's his
Yeah.
leadership, his ability to stay calm in every situation, no matter what, if they're losing. If you listen to his comms in his pro view, it's the calmest shit ever. It's like, bruh, it put me to sleep. Like, it tucked me in, rolled me up tight. It was like, you good, baby? You want some warm milk before you go to bed, baby? Like, yeah, yeah. Read you a bedtime story and rocks you to sleep. You go. You're ready to go.
You go.
Because it's so amazingly calm. Like that first blood in the game against First blood against the game against, I think it was Griffin, but I'm not sure. They got first blood, or they won a team fight, and he calmly said, "Hey, we can't win the 5v5. Let's split up." And they,
I don't think he said it like that.
bruh, it was like Donnell Jones started talking. Barry White in this old age, just chilling. He's like, he was so relaxed.
He said Barry White.
It was so deep, so relaxed. It was just, we can't win the 5v5 no more. Let's split up. And they split up and it worked. I'm like,
I
no,
mean,
I'm just saying. Like, you can't replace that. You can't replace
no,
just like the calmness of having Faker on your team. You
yeah,
can't replace that.
true.
But eventually, you're going to have to start thinking about it.
Hmm.
And SKT has brought on talent that
Hmm.
they're secretly training against
I mean, not even
Faker.
secretly. I mean, Easy Hoon
Ex-
was an example of
I,
that.
I
Like
was
they,
gonna
they
say
do
easy.
it.
I was gonna say easy Hoon, but
Yeah, I
again,
mean, look how much better he got over his course on SKT. Now, I don't think he's still playing now, but he got way better just by playing on that team.
exactly. So the whole bit about us not fostering talent is because we're not digging deep enough to get it. We have one thing over every league here. We might not be doing the best. We might not got the best talent. We might not got the best servers. But guess what we got? The most money. And we could buy anybody. We could buy anybody. We want.
Yeah, let me get some of that liquid money. I'm saying. I'm just saying now.
I'm just saying. We ain't got, look, we got the most money. And I don't feel like the teams are throwing enough of it around.
I, hold on.
Hold
They're
on.
throwing it around. let's not let's not paint the wrong picture here. They're throwing it around.
but at,
But
but they're
I
making
mean,
it stick
God.
in different places that aren't the place you need it to be. They're throwing money at different spots without knowing where their talent pool will come from.
Mm, I don't know if I quite agree with that.
I
I
mean,
mean, like
they
we
paid
definitely
for they
know.
paid for a Korean scout who scouts the Korean servers and feeds them
Hmm.
information. And guess what? I got this directly from the horse's mouth. Said in
Did
an
you?
interview, said in an interview, no. I told you, I've been researching this shit for days, son.
Hmm.
For days.
I believe
Okay?
you.
So,
No, I mean, like that doesn't surprise me at all. Like it makes sense. Like I
so
don't.
they bought a scout from Korea. But the
Yeah.
guy who interviews all the other people, he's late. He's late because he's not Korean. He's got to wait for a
Makes sense.
translator. He's got to wait for a
Yeah.
translator. That translator's got to go over there. This guy's got to go over here. And by the time he's translated, this guy has signed five of the people from solo queue. 5 of the people in solo queue already picked out, ready to go.
Yeah, no, I mean, like that makes sense, but it just goes back to that discussion about NA's native pool being too small because we don't play ranked, because we don't do all of these things, because culturally, because infrastructure wise, there's so many things stacked against, or not even stacked against, that just set this specific thing up to fail. Like within our own culture, it goes back to, if we really wanted to get out of just fourth place.
Right.
Right now, we're fourth place in I think every category across the board.
Across.
And if we want to get out of fourth, rest and rip Team Curse. Then
Riverino.
Bruh.
you've doomed us all, beautiful bastards.
And they are
Then
indeed beautiful
we need to
bastards.
look at our own culture internally across America, across Canada, and say, well, look, these are the things that we need to change in our culture to get this thing more popular, to get this thing taken more seriously. And as we get older, just like you were saying, we're put in a better position to do that, because you're raising a new generation. We're all around other people who are becoming influencers, who are becoming the standard for what our culture will be when all the baby boomers die off
Correct.
in another 2 years. I can
Hey.
pray. But
We wish you
that's
no ill
how.
will. We just looking at facts.
Sure.
This guy.
I won't say there's no ill will, but
Lord.
that's another conversation. Yeah, no, so we're getting put in a position to change our culture and to make this thing that we love bigger. And it's, how do we do that? I mean, yes, you could look at Riot as a company putting out more traditional marketing and making their thing more widely known to people that don't know about it now, as being an option of saying, hey, all you people who don't understand what esports is, who've never heard of League of Legends in America, this is what it is. And you're starting to see some of that just through some like the ESPN stuff. I mean, I've gotten a million TFT display ads. They're starting to do some of this, and then you're also starting to see it talked about a little bit on news, and then players are talking to their friends about it all the time.
Right.
Like, I've met so many people that I didn't know play League, at least maybe even know what League is, because we're starting to be able to talk about it more.
Oh, I work with like 5 or 6 people that actually play League, and like every single time I go into work to work my shift, they're like, "So have you gotten out of gold yet?" I'm like, "No, life sucks. It's hard.
Yeah,
I can't climb out of the gold ladder because almost every single time that I get in the game, there's a single troll or someone who didn't realize they were playing ranked."
And that's good, because it's turning League into the water cooler level talk that we want it to be.
Right.
It's us moving our own society to address all of these issues slowly, and it's not going to be like a quick thing.
Now I'm going to interject. Now I'm going to interject you. I'm going to stop you right there for just a second. Hold that thought, dude. Hold that thought.
I'm not holding on to anything.
No, you're going to hold this. You're going to hold this. Hold on.
I'm crying.
Now, here's the one thing that I realized. When they dropped that 10th anniversary trailer for the different games that came out, the FPS that they're working on, the card game that I think is out, and the fighting game that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Let me explain. I'm a fighting game FGC guy. I go to tournaments. Okay. I go to tournaments. I play and stuff. All that stuff like that. I follow streams. I'm FGC till I die. That's a fact. Okay? So when the League of Legends fighting game was announced, we already knew 3 months ahead of time.
Oh, you were so geeked.
And the reason being is because one of the heads of the game that they bought was an FGC guy. He was one. He founded he founded Evo, which is the biggest fighting game tournament of all time. He he wrote for Shoryuken, which is the biggest Street Fighter website of all time, or fighting game web that puts out frame data and things of that nature. And then he made Rising Thunder to bridge the gap, which is whatever the League of Legends called the game before, it's Riot Thunder featuring League of Legends characters because it was Rising Thunder first. So he made Rising Thunder to bridge the gap between stuff like Dive Kick, which is just a two-button fighting game, versus Tekken 7 that is takes years and years of knowing each move, and there's certain frame data for each move, and one move crumples another and certain things like that. So they made a middle ground to where you can play this game and it's a good middle ground for you. So where instead of having people complain about special move spamming, they put special moves on cooldowns. So League of Legends saw this, came in and bought it. So for 2 years we've heard nothing about this game. For 2 years, Rolling Thunder got disappeared off of Steam and all other markets. We heard nothing from it. It got bought by Riot Games. That was the last thing we heard. Until EVO 2018. Now, here's where I bring this thing full circle about all this crap that I just talked about to what you just said. I had no idea how many people knew about League of Legends in the fighting game community until this game got announced. So, do you know that little trailer, that 15-second
Yeah,
visual?
Darius Versari.
Yeah, Darius Versari.
That little 15-second visual?
Yeah.
They broke this down so far in the FGC. They took this 15-second frame shot and broke it down to the point where they're like, okay, so Darius is a grappling champion. He's got this many frames for startup for this move.
Jesus
already.
Christ.
You understand?
Fighting game people are crazy. These fighting game people are crazy, let me tell you.
And now, here's the biggest piece. So I'm expecting them to stumble over the background. So they're like, man, this is the only shot we have with a background. And he goes, well, thank God it's Shurima because, like, yeah, I see the sun disk in the back, and we know that Azir's ult passive is where he puts the little sun disk down and makes another tower. So that must be Shurima. I had no idea they knew that. They don't play League of Legends. They haven't played one game, but they understood Shurima. They knew who Darius was. They said, hey, why isn't Ari, where's Ari's orb? They asked that question.
Where's Ari's orb?
They asked that question.
Not in the clip.
They asked the question, like, why is she fighting with her hands? Don't she normally have an orb that she throws the magic out of? They went nuts. They went in depth with her, Katarina. They know Jinx's ult. They know Jinx's ult. They know the name of it. They're better than me. They know the names.
Super Mega Death Rocket.
You see what I'm saying? They know the names of each move. They're like, oh, all right, so boom, they got this one. Then she shot, but then she only got 3 juggles, and they did a frame trap that's normally known as a air dodge or an air tech roll. As an air tech roll. So that means either A, their juggling system is meant to auto disarm so you can't get juggled all day. So after a certain number of hits, it drops the juggle. So they've already figured all of this out from 15 seconds of footage. You understand?
You gotta give it to them.
You understand?
I mean, yeah.
15 seconds of footage. And the shooting space is even worse. Because they had a longer clip for the shooting game. And they figured out everything about that one too. They figured out how many frames it takes to shoot. They figured, and the CSGO people are going nuts about it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
CS:GO plus Overwatch, and it's like,
Yeah.
holy shit, that's everything. It's
it's
Riot
everything
Games.
I've ever wanted.
Riot Games declared war, y'all.
Yo, they want everybody's money, and you're gonna get it.
And I'm gonna toss it at them.
And you're gonna get it.
The CS:GO people, they're gonna do the same damn thing to CS:GO that they did to Dota. It's, hey, let's take this thing that's really cool that everyone loves
And make it our own.
make it better.
Yeah, lean in, make it better. Just done. But again, it's already gotten notoriety.
Mm-hmm.
So the FGC knows about it. The shooting game space that we were just talking about, saying, oh, if shooting game people knew who we are, it'd be better. They know who we are. They know who League of Legends is.
But there's a difference between knowing about it
and actually experiencing
playing
it.
And
yeah.
the reason
doing
that
it and being able to talk about it and that kind of thing.
and the reason that they won't is because toxicity. The toxicity in the toxicity in the community.
Of our city.
The toxicity in the community.
Of our city.
That's crazy. By the way, that is crazy. So it's not friendly to new players.
No,
It's not.
And CS:GO is not friendly to new players either.
No.
I went over to CS:GO and
Oh hell no!
Well, I
What
had a friend at work. He watched the documentary, and he was like, "Oh man, like that's all cool." I was like, "Yeah, man, it's real cool. Like I
Don't
love
play it,
professional
though.
League of Legends." And he was like, "Yeah, so like, would you recommend that I play?" I said, "No, don't play it."
No.
Exactly. You can't give that.
Like, I was like, "This is it's the weirdest thing. I love League of Legends. I
Right.
love this game." But I would never wish it upon anyone.
Bruh.
It is a
Oh yeah.
soul-sucking
And once
nightmare
you're
that,
in, it's just like
You
well,
can't leave. It's a bad trip. It's a bad drug trip. You can't
is.
leave.
Yeah,
I
can't.
hate
and so
some milk.
until the system is better for newer players to get into that, I'll never recommend the game to anyone.
So here.
Oh yeah.
So I did the worst thing I could possibly do as a husband.
You made your wife play League of Legends.
I made her play one game.
What is wrong with you?
She
That's
hears
just-
me.
you
She
fucked
hears
up.
me. She hears me cast all the time. She hears me get hype about the game and things of that nature. So she thought it'd be fun to give it a try. And
She was wrong.
Oh.
and I just didn't say anything. I didn't tell her it was a good idea. I didn't tell her it was a bad idea. I was like, sometimes you gotta play games. I don't know.
Did you at least mute the chat for her?
Oh no. Oh no. You gotta get the full experience, baby. Like you gotta know. So
No, my friend, that's where you take full advantage of that mute all function.
no. No. So I dropped her in the game. And of course she's asking questions the whole time. She's like, okay, so these 4 are your skills. You only lock them one at a time. Blah, blah, blah. You get so on and so forth. You right click to move, you point where you move at, and you're good to go. And she moves right on the tower, gets shots, and dies. She goes, what happened? The tower killed you. Why? Because you got too close to it. How do I know how close am I supposed to get? Honey, you're not supposed to get close to the tower at all unless there's minions around you. What? Why? What those little guys gonna do? They're gonna take the tower shots for you. And that concept went so
Right over the head.
it went boom. And the guy flamed her. And it was
Naturally.
and oh my god. I can't say it on the air because I've gotten on planking about cursing. Let's just say it was like not the nicest thing to say to somebody.
sure.
But it was like hold on. But I gotta say it because it was bad. It was F your mom. My mom's dead, my wife replies. He goes,
Uh-oh.
then I'm going to dig her up.
Oh my god.
Okay. So this is
Lord.
where we're at.
Oh Lord.
So my wife uninstalled. The game as fast as it could go. As fast as it, and she goes, "You play this?
Yep.
You don't just leave. You're sticking around."
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah. I'm here. Can't leave. It's, I've
They
invested.
got that hook in me.
They got Nautilus in my back. I can't go anywhere. I'm like, you know. But
No, I know.
this whole conversation is actually bringing me around to this next big piece. Okay? So, would it be beneficial to do for I'm trying to get this sentence out because I'm a retard. Um when it comes to different regions, they have places they can meet up. Like in Japan, Korea, there's little computer shops that
Yeah,
have
PC
computers
banks.
set up for League of Legends for you to play with no to team to team. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But there's nothing like that in the US.
Mhm.
We are reliant on the internet to get this done. Now, I play fighting games. So I go out to tournaments. I got one on Tuesday of November the 5th. So I won't be casting on that day. But we get up, we take our little fight sticks,
Yep.
and we go out. See, I'm
Mhm.
fixing mine. I went through all these wires. I'm fixing this one because my left trigger is broken because it's stuck.
You smashed it too hard?
No, it's stuck. It's just like it gets
You gotta
stuck.
you gotta take care. You gotta take better care of your things, man.
It gets stuck in the middle of matches. It just gets stuck.
That's not good.
I'm buying new buttons. I'm buying new buttons to put on there. But we're gonna take our little fight stick. We're gonna go out and we're gonna try to get first place out there.
Good luck.
At this
Yeah.
tournament. So why in the U.S. aren't there more places where we can meet up and play League?
Well, I mean, I don't think it's been discovered yet that there's actually a huge amount of people that cannot run League. And I mean, shit, when I was younger, I used to go out. There's a lot of shops in my area that actually have like LAN centers for League, and they used to host tournaments. And I don't see anybody hosting tournaments anymore, so it kind of just fell off the map. That people can play outside of like your home, but it literally nobody hosts tournaments anymore in the area, so it's just kind of disappeared.
Have you looked on Smash GG?
No,
Do you know what Smash GG is?
no, because I don't play Smash.
No. Smash GG is not just for Smash.
Mm-hmm,
I
sure.
am glad we get to have this conversation. Okay, so there used to be a tournament site. I forgot the name of it by now because, again, anyway, but it turned into Smash GG. Smash GG is where all kinds of tournaments are held. Not just Smash Brothers. You also find Street Fighter tournaments there, a bunch of FGC tournaments, but there's also a section for community. There's also a section for you guys to talk about catching up and making a tournament. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is we're not simulating worlds enough for our NA players. Because again, in MSI and everywhere else during the season, we play best of threes. Everywhere else, we play best of threes. But at Worlds, best of one. One round robin to prove that you're better than the other team. And anybody can suck for a day.
Yeah, this is true.
Anybody can suck for a day.
Even you, Howling.
Especially
you can
me.
definitely suck for a day.
Especially me. Because I'm bronze and it's expected. Oh
Alright.
God, I am going to hell. Um, but Smash GG is a place where you can organize an event. There's a button right there where you can just click organize an event and make a league event that millions of people can get connected to. They can know where to go. It'll have tournament details, rules, everything present. And you can have a sign up list for each team. And you can also make the bracket for that tournament right on Smash GG.
I mean, I see how you're going with that, but finding the place to host it to
Oh,
like have
and
the capability.
I'm glad you brought that up too.
Oh my God, is it listed on the site too?
No, I wish it was listed on the site. It would make my day a lot easier. But we are hosted in different places. When I say different places, the one I'm going to is hosted at a Top Golf. I don't know if you know what that is. It's like one of
Yes.
yeah. Oh yeah, you in Texas. So yeah, it's hosted at a Top Golf. Top Golf has agreed that hey, y'all pay this much entry fee, we will let you in. And we've done it at bars. We've done it at bars,
Mhm.
different little holes in the wall spots, and that's just so to drum up business for them because when they go in, we buy a whole bunch of food because playing video games makes you hungry and makes you thirsty and you eat when you're sad and when you lose you're gonna want something fast to eat. I'm just saying. So yeah, I'm not gonna go 0-2 in bracket and then just go drown my sorrow in a double cheeseburger. Nah, I'll do those. It's
Yeah,
not
you
what
do.
happens.
You totally do.
Nope.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do that. I do that constantly. But having these places to play, having these places to play offline, to do best of ones, to get used to giving your all from the first. This is the difference between our teams and their teams is they get the they get to play almost offline all the time. They get to play almost offline best of ones the entire time that they're practicing because their ping is so low, their latency is so low. We need to do something to even the playing field. And by giving teams this feel, there is even a place already set up in California for them to do this. It's called Wednesday Night Fights. Wednesday Night Fights, if you've ever looked it up, it's a big FGC event where they have this giant warehouse that they already rent, that they own. Someone owns this warehouse where it's just wall to wall full of fighting game setups, just wall to wall the entire time. Just nothing but fighting game setups. And they run games all night. 15 different titles, and everybody goes out to that event. If I ever go to California, that's what I'm going there for. I'm going there for Wednesday night fights. Honey, you want to go see Hollywood? Hell no. You want to go meet celebrities? Hell no. The people suck. I'm going I'm going to FGC. I don't know half of them. But these are the things that I want to do. So this is one of my propositions is getting us offline. Now, we have been talking for an hour about how the EU sucks, but we've
Wait, what?
You mean the NA?
NA.
I haven't said EU sucks. EU is the second or third best region.
You're doing a great job here.
I always talk about EU sucks. Sorry,
I mean, I hate
I'm just
Fnatic, but
used
I won't say that
I'm
EU
just used to
sucks.
that. I'm just used to that rhetoric in my mind because
Mm.
EU sucks is just natural for an NA person to say. I'm just just saying. It's just natural, flows out, but we're missing the one big piece to tie this all together.
Mhm.
I
Which
think
is
I think that League of Legends should throw money at leagues like the ESDL in EU and other leagues of its type. The reason being is these leagues foster talent. They give them an environment to where they can play. They provide data on those players over a long period of time, where it's not just solo queue matches that they're ranked on. There's full drawn out charts for each person. You can. It trains them to have. We're already working on team cohesion, which is something that, again, it's easy to train them on. They're already working on it, and also another big piece of it is they can pick them up from the EU, from the NA. I was getting ready to say EU sucks. They can pick them up from the NA and work with them in the ESDL environment without having them touch an academy team, without them touching an academy team or the main roster. It'll be a great place to pull talent from.
I don't think you're wrong. I just think it gets really complicated when you say Riot should put money into it.
Okay? And when I say put money into it, I mean send a scout. I don't mean throw actual money at ESDL. Give us players! Give us players! Give us play! I don't mean that.
So
send us a scout that looks for pro talent in small pools like this.
Well, that's more on the teams to do than Riot. The teams would need to do that, and then for
I'm
that
sorry.
to happen,
you're right. The teams.
Yeah, but for that to happen, I feel like there's certain criteria that have to be met. That I think there's a lot of amateur leagues out there. I found besides just ESDL. ESDL is one of them. But I've found a lot of them.
But what I'm saying is, scout these places.
Well, my only problem with that is I haven't seen the level of players in any of these amateur leagues outside of like collegiate, maybe, where there are consistently teams of Dia 2+ players. Collegiate leagues, yes. There's the collegiate league, I think, is the closest we have to that. But I think it starts getting complicated with looking, because you're talking about pulling someone out of college to play professional League of Legends, and I think there's a lot more inherent risk with that.
Yeah, but we're not talking about, we're not pulling them directly from college. Okay, so
because we can't, because we can't. So that means it's do we look at just seniors who are in these collegiate leagues and are in there, masters, grandmasters, whatever.
What are we looking at? What are we talking about? Like, I think we should have like how we got Class A. We should have like a graduate class.
I don't think we have the players for that. I mean, like, even looking at Class A, there's multiple. I've seen silver players in Class A. It's because of how ESDL, and I think it was only one or two, but it's because of how it works, where you have the balance in how they build teams. It's you have your high player and your low player, and everyone in between matches out to balance out the average. So the average rank on a team will be the same within their division.
Right, but
so
with the way
we get these reports.
But the way that we changed that is they changed it with instead of ranking you by your solo crew rank, which Riot doesn't even approve of, because they're not looking at solo queue. Yeah. They want somebody that already has a team and a serious mentality in mind. Keep in mind that we're hold up. Give me 1 second.
Go ahead.
Keep in mind that we're paying for this service.
Yeah.
That whoever's been here consistently enough to make diamond in the ESDL ranking, not solo queue, diamond or challenger in the ESDL ranking, is serious enough to get on one of these teams and show them what's won.
So, I think there's one problem.
But of course, they're going to need coaching and stuff like that, of course.
And I think there's one other problem with that, and it's, yes, we'll have, and we haven't seen like how the math and the numbers will work on those. I don't even know if we'll have insight to what our competitive rank is. I don't know if
until
that'll
the
be
end of
available.
the season. Then we'll know.
Yeah, so we won't know where that sits, but with it goes back to the pool of players that you have. Right now, ESDL I found is mostly silver to plat, mostly, which makes sense. That's where most players are distributed, at least that probably want to do this sort of thing.
Right.
And if the competitive rank, let's say any of our teams make it to a competitive rank of the ESDL equivalent to Diamond.
Okay.
We're saying, so under your example, LCS teams should be scouting within us.
Correct.
But I guarantee you, if you put me in a match against any professional player, I'm gonna get fucked. I can't. I would not be able to keep up.
Okay.
Because internally, I'm performing at a level within our pool that might be much better. But when you compare pools, it's very different. So we need a consistent Dia Plus level of players that would make that up.
My question to you is this: how do you feel your mechanics are?
Around where I am, gold 2. Team play, I like.
No.
No.
Particularly mechanics.
No, right around where I am.
Okay. So the reason I say that is this: you said earlier in this conversation,
Yeah.
that if your mechanics are sound, they can teach you the rest.
That's what CV Max said. That's what, as a
CV
coach,
Max.
he personally, yeah.
Of course.
That's him. I don't
Not
necessarily
you.
think.
Not you. But
Yeah.
but what I feel like is,
But I
if
don't think
but it'll
gold 2
help
mechanics are
begin.
that sound.
But it'll help begin rotating out this talent pool. So let's say they are scouting within us, right? And they talked to the ESDL and they said, hey, we want to throw a pro. Maybe not even not a double lift, not a Core JJ. Let's throw an Academy pro at them with a team that you guys make up just to see how they handle it. And you guys don't do terrible, you do decent. But you see the differences in the punishes that you get served. Do you learn from that?
Well, I mean, yeah, but it's
The whole point is to give the players a place to play where they can provide a challenge to the people that are close enough to their serious level to where they would learn from their play. B, cultivate new talent and help them grow from that. And C, get them to play in an environment where it's not toxic like solo queue.
I 100% agree with everything you just said. The only problem with it is I see that within the current pool of ESDL players, we do not then the players, not that same structure, which I totally agree is amazing. We do not provide enough value back to teams from a talent pool perspective as of this time.
I think so. I think we provide a lot. What I mean is by provide a lot. Here's what I mean when I say provide a lot. What we provide is 5 things in particular. 1, we have tracked this one player throughout his entire cycle as a player. When he comes into ESDL, he is not given a rank based on solo queue. Unlike when he comes into the league. When he comes into the league, whatever rank he was, that's what he was. A diamond player can come into the ESDL and be ranked as a rookie because he's never played on a team before this.
No.
Yes,
I hope that doesn't happen.
hold on. A diamond player can be ranked as a rookie if he plays in ESDL. If he does
Should
not,
be.
if he does not exhibit team cohesion, being able to work as a team, getting out of the solo queue mindset and into the mindset of a team, to where he can be moved up. If
But
he's
on
still,
a base level, he'll just be so mechanically better than the people he's playing against that
because
it's
it's
just
not
going to
based
create an
off,
imbalance.
but it's not based off of wins and losses. The
But it's
SDL rank is not based off of wins and losses.
no,
It's
no,
based
I understand
on
that.
it's based on how well you get along with your team. So
But you're talking
let's
about this
just
man
say you're completely toxic. You're the best mechanically sound faker playing motherfucker in the world. I
The
mean,
best micro player.
the best micro player, the best alt tabber you've ever seen in your life. He's tabbing and shooting minions and hitting them in the back of the neck, and bam, you can't go forward, you're dead.
It's Attack on
The
Titan now?
best, but he's the most toxic, poisonous, mushroom head, drinking down tea, Mario mushroom eating person ever. The
Tarzan.
most toxic person you've ever seen. He will not move up.
Did we find out when they
We're
were
not
actually
talking about-
implementing these though?
At the end of the season, you're given a rank. That rank is not based on wins and losses. It is
Yeah.
based on how you how you got along with your team, how well you turned your
No.
individual play into team play, and create it. And as you even said earlier, it is not easy as you used to be to carry a game if you're the only good person.
With the exception of if you put a diamond player in with a bunch of bronzes, the diamond player will win 99.99% of the time.
I mean, we got close. We got dang close. We got close.
Who won?
We got close.
Who won?
Huh?
Who won?
I'm sorry, you starting to cut out right there.
That's all. But that's what I'm saying is that it
No,
doesn't.
no.
It's
I'm
like, yeah,
just-
coming close is great. Like, but it's
we got close.
that's great. Like, I'm not trying to take that away from you at all. But at the end of the day,
got
and they say
close.
this Worlds, what matters is the W.
All I can say is we got close.
And no, and like you should hold that up. Like, I'm not trying to take that away from you or belittle it at all. That's great. Like, it's great to say that you got close. Like, hold that up. But yeah, they won, and that's where
But they didn't win because of just
to.
him. They didn't win
But,
because
like,
of just that player.
That's fine. Yeah, no, 100. But you'll have that player being like, "All right, you do this, you do this, you
Yeah,
do this."
but let's
And
say they don't know
and-
who this person is. They're coming into this. This person is a sub.
yeah.
They have no idea that this is double lift. None.
I mean, I would hope they could.
I would
recognize
hope
the
they would
voice.
know. Yeah, you would hope they would recognize the voice and be like,
But context of your
Man,
particular ass,
"Man,
not double
you
lift
sound like
specifically.
double lift."
I mean,
Jesus.
I would hope that you talk to the team you're subbing with and be like, "Hey, y'all, look at my op.gg. I'm diamond. I got y'all." It's
and
you know,
that's not how it happens. Because if you come to me and tell me you're diamond, you should listen to everything I say, I'm better than you, I'm gonna hit you with the attitude like,
oh yeah, like I'm not saying that they should go that they'll come in there like that.
First and foremost, buddy, you're not
Yeah,
diamond
no,
in the
that's a shitty
ESDL.
attitude.
You're ranked, buddy. If you want to throw rank at me, that's not gonna work over here, okay? And I can go Medea's family reunion, snap neck all I want to, but if I listen to the diamond player, we'll win.
No, like I agree that, like, yeah, they shouldn't come in with that attitude of I'm diamond, listen to me. But it's and I hope no one's doing that. Don't get me wrong. I think it's more just if someone on my team were to take a break and a diamond player subbed in, I'd be looking for opportunities from what can I learn from this person at any level, because there's a reason they're diamond and I'm not.
Correct.
So
my whole thing is, why can't we see the same thing when we play against them?
What do you mean?
I mean, you're given the opportunity, like you're given the opportunity to play a pro. I was excited to take on golds as a bronze.
Mm-hmm.
I got
No,
completely mechanically ripped.
Yeah.
I have that clip saved
Mm-hmm.
of planking shoving in our top lane as hard as she possibly could. Planking, what are you looking at right now? You look shocked. Is her camera stuck?
Oh, it's frozen.
No,
Nope,
she just
blinked.
blinked. She just blinked.
I can sit so still. You think my camera is frozen?
Bruh. All right, but you learn, so a pro touching the ESDL automatically doesn't poison our well. It ends up making our well better. So let's
True.
say we get a pro in once a season throughout. Let's say we even have a whole academy team that plays the winner of whatever our top division is, right? Let's make a top division. And that top division plays the winner of that division plays the academy team of Echo Fox or the academy team of
Whoever. Yeah,
whoever, right? It bridges the gap between regular play and pro play, which is what we need to do as NA. We need to bridge that gap. It's too far. The gap is too far.
Yeah.
Mario can't jump across. The gap is too far.
No, you definitely have a point with that. Then you look at
The gap is too far.
Yeah. No, they have like
The gap is too far. Can you
The
imagine
gap
Mario?
is too far.
Can you imagine Mario just the gap is too
Potion
far?
seller. I'm going into battle.
walk
And
up
I
to
need
hit
the
B,
strongest
Mario just does
potions.
nothing.
Mario looks at the screen and goes, "Really, bro? Really?"
Excuse me? Excuse you? But like so you look at EU, they have stuff like DreamHack, European Masters,
Right.
Intelli like all that kind of they have so many more opportunities like that for
to bridge
a
the gap.
professional like environment. No, so you're definitely right that something like that could be great.
But we need to do it as EU. What?
As an A.
You're doing a great job.
I believe in you. You can do it.
10 out of 10 experience.
10
5
out
out
of
of
10.
10 out of 10.
5 out of 7 podcast.
5 out of 7.
Yikes.
So, for NA to bridge this gap and start creating talent here, the biggest way to do that is A, you cut out solo queue. The reason being with ESDL, you cut solo queue all the way out. That's the best part about ESDL. They have to pay to be in the league. Meaning they gotta pay to be in the league. They gotta be committed. You gotta commit money to this, man. I just got charged again. I just got charged again. It's like, hey, bro, you ain't pay your dues for the month. Oh, okay. That means I need to get the casting and get my voice back out there, because that's the reason I pay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ain't paying to do the podcast.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's benefits and disadvantages to that model. I think you see it a lot in the format. The format in itself is designed to cycle players more or less. Short seasons, not a lot of teams in each division. It's designed to move fast.
Right.
For that revenue generation, obviously. But you're also right that by paying, you're signing up with more of a mindset that you have to commit. I mean, you have to.
Right.
Most intramural leagues you have to pay to be a part of. So like that's fair. And this is much more of an intramural league than anything else.
Right.
And so that makes sense. So what you're saying is not wrong, and as a region looking professionally and kind of bridging that gap between like amateur play and professional play, there's definitely not enough of that in NA.
Correct.
Which could create a lot more of, like you're saying, incentives for people to
sign up for
take
this.
top of the ladder better and
Right.
do things
To
like
sign
that.
up for this, to get to the top of the ladder, because there's an opportunity here. And even on top of that, it then starts leaking over. Then it starts leaking over the solo queue, because now they know. Oh, wait, I put my all in the solo queue. I start getting ranked up. I get into the higher parts of the ESDL. They're looking over there. Where are we looking in NA to get this talent? Apparently, the dumpster, because that's why they call it trash. Because apparently we're looking in the
that
dumpster.
gets back to that whole other
When right,
conversation. I mean, we're
when
the
right,
fourth best region. That's not bad.
yeah.
It's not. We're definitely not the best, and we're not the top performing. But to say NA sucks is also just wrong.
But
when
we
we're
should,
consistently the
but
fourth
we
best
should
region.
be better by this point.
I don't disagree with you.
We
I
should be
don't disagree
better
with you.
by this point. What is taking us so long to overturn the third?
And that's where we start getting back into that culture of league and all of these things playing together. It's not just one of the things we've talked about. It's how all of them influence each other. How, the culture in America doesn't promote PC gaming or strategy gaming or these types of things being as popular as they are in other countries. How the internet infrastructure doesn't promote all of these things. How, because everything in America is so spread out, it doesn't make it easy for people to have local tournaments and local lands. And then you also have to fill out an entire team and bracket with those locally. Like, I live in New York, so I see a bunch of this starting to come up more of there being local tournaments because there are enough people to build out brackets with that are willing to go to these things.
Right.
But you don't have that everywhere.
Nope.
So it's slowly starting to come up, and I think within 5 or so years we'll really start to see more of that, assuming League doesn't die off when they kill the bot lane in season 10. But
bruh, wait.
What?
I'm so upset with that.
They're not gonna kill the bot lane.
They already did. So all right, hold on.
Bot lane is completely useless.
I've been looking into this, so let me tell you, my friend. Let me tell you. I will be
He's
level
like, nope,
4
I'm ready.
when my top laner is level fucking 7.
Yeah.
What?
There's a brief window where I will be level 4 or 5 when my top laner is level 7. My mid laner is level 7. And if they're getting fed, or if the enemy top laner is fed or the enemy mid laner is fed, they'll be level 8 when I'm still level 4 or 5. Probably level 5 at that point. So that, yeah, it's 2.4 XP both ways. So they're increasing the XP gap between solo lane and bot lane by roughly 5%, 4.8%. What that does is massive because bot lane is already most of the time 1.5 to 2 levels behind your solo laners. Increasing that will consistently make it at the very least 2 levels behind, sometimes 3 depending on circumstances, wave management, etc. So especially I think at lower levels of play where people don't understand wave management, you'll really start to see a lot more 3-4 level gaps.
Yeah.
Between solo laners and bot lane. And what it's going to do is it's either going to turn supports back into season 3, season 4, never in lane, 0 income, 0 experience, constantly roaming. So your AD carry is not just a walking bag of gold that's basically a big minion that's going to die all the time because they won't have the levels to match up with their solo lanes. Because they already gutted AD carry multiple times without anything else. So you're going to see bot lane. And with the dragon changes on top of that,
they're going to struggle.
There will not be an AD carry played in season 10 that's not named Zyra, Kaisa.
Okay. On an optimistic side of things, I feel great about my new role following my jungle around to help with games.
River Shed in season 10, calling it now.
Oh, god dang. Oh, bro.
That's just gonna be the time of 2 jungles, and you both just go and counter jungle, just so you can get ahead.
Awful. It's gonna be awful.
Well, we're gonna see if they don't pull that change back.
It's Riot Games.
Come on now.
They're gonna launch it and then be like, haha, doesn't this suck? We'll fix it.
No, they're gonna launch it in preseason. Everyone's gonna be like, hey, you remember this thing that literally everyone told you would feel awful? It feels awful. And they'll be like, all right, sorry guys, we didn't think it would feel awful. We thought it would, the classic Meteos, 50% balance my nipples clip. You know that one? You know it.
I know it. I know it. I know it. I'm good.
It's we're gonna get that, and it's not actually thinking about how it feels to play the game. And it's gonna be great, and I can't wait. And
it's gonna be fantastic because your level 7 mid is gonna come down and gank that level 4 bot and push them even further behind. It's gonna be great.
Nope, because I'm just playing Pantheon bot preseason. Pantheon bot only.
Bruh. All right. So so we've talked about everything that I have to talk about in this topic, but I really do feel like bridging our gap in our talent is one of the biggest things that we can do. So I understand that this is not a short-term solution. So this won't be a 2021, 2022 type solution. This will be more like a 2025, 2026, where we get the ESDL really rolling. And I'm not saying it's going to take them that long to get really rolling, but where they get recognized enough by the LCS that they go, there might be something to this league. Let's look into it. Where I get to go and meet my hero, Hotshot, on the mic and cast. So let's.
Now I see the whole point. You just want to meet Hotshot. This is all this is about. It's awesome. You have it all mapped out, dots and everything. How do I meet Hotshot GG? I see where this is going. All right, Allie.
You like how I told you would like how
I figured you out.
I told you you'd like how this tied together. Well, that is all for us. Oh, wait. Nope, it is not all for us. The winner of our clip contest is Blueprint. Yay! Yay. Yay.
I'm biased.
Yay. Yay. Well, Blueprint, I'm not biased. Contact me as soon as you get a chance. As soon as you hear this or you get a chance, contact me. I will be reaching out to you myself so that way we can get you your 10 RP and we can get you to give us a little short little take on what's going on with you. All right? And I want to thank Photograph Raptor.
Raptor's fine. Raptor's fine.
I want to
Photography Raptor.
I want to thank Photography Raptor for coming on. I appreciate you, man. He's also created some documents that you all need to take a look at. Yeah, you thought I wasn't going to mention it. You thought I forgot. In my notes, I wrote it. He has created some documents that all teams should look at. It's a very good way of keeping track of your progress as a team, the comps you come up with, and as well of the comps of your enemies, things y'all need to work on, everything. This guy's done a fantastic job. I don't know how long it took him. It probably took him a couple of minutes. I don't know. He's probably got the template on his computer. I'm just messing around, dude. But he did a very good job on this, and I am stealing it. So, everyone else, I'm hoping you steal it too when you hear this. Please steal it from him if you need it. Again, it is in the casting. It's in the casting.
The draft one is in casting.
Okay.
That's my casting prep template. I think I put the other one. It's in one of the green room channels.
So it's in one of the green room channels.
No, I think it's in the ESDL Insider feedback one.
If you need it, contact me or Raptor.
Yeah,
we will
definitely
get it to you. It's a wonderful sheet, man.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. And anyone who's ever curious about like how and trying to get into casting and curious about like how I go into researching teams and looking at drafts and thinking about drafts, I'm always more than happy to talk about it. I know there's a lot of people who are interested in casting from any perspective.
Yeah, we're gonna
But
have to have a casting pod. We're gonna have another podcast just for casting.
yeah, no, I'm more than happy to talk about draft philosophy and all that fun stuff and how
Yeah, because
I
that's a
look at it.
whole
Vibration intensifies.
that's a whole nother thing when it
Yeah,
comes to
no,
picks and bans, man. Like, oh my god, I've seen some terrible ones. I've
because
seen some bad ones.
Cool.
I've
man, you
seen
don't.
some bad ones.
I don't want to talk about
I've
it.
seen I've seen some bad ones.
um, but yeah, so I'm always happy to talk about that stuff. Feel free to reach out if anyone ever has any questions about the docs. Always happy to. Thank
And
you so much for having me on.
we're also gonna try to put them in the video. I ain't got control over
Okay.
that, but try to put I'm gonna add that to like my requests wheel because I
Mhm.
request a lot from ESDL. Thanks, Summer. We love you. You do great work for us. Thank you. So we're gonna make sure we add that to our list of things to add. Um, Again, that's all for us today. I like to thank I like to thank everybody for tuning in. I'd like to thank you guys for showing up. And I'd like to thank everybody that can hear my voice for stop being toxic. Let's try one thing a day to keep everybody from being toxic. Mute your mics, guys. They're not worth it. All right. Peace.
Hey,
And
guess what?